Dozens of migrants are waking up in Martha's Vineyard. They were flown to Boston on Wednesday as part of Florida's relocation program. In a statement, Governor DeSantis says states like Massachusetts will, quote, better facilitate the care of these individuals through their designation as sanctuary states.
More Republican governors joining Greg Abbott in busing migrants to other states. Buses carrying migrants arrived at Vice President Harris's home at the U.S. Naval Observatory in D.C. earlier this morning. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis sent dozens of migrants on charter flights to Martha's Vineyard, Massachusetts yesterday as part of his relocation program. Many didn't know where they were going, and local officials were not given any advance notice. The president of the League of the United Latin American Citizens held a news conference earlier today.
Shame on you, Governor Abbott. Shame on you, Governor DeSantis. These political stunts have no role in American politics. This is being used in immigration as wedge politics and something that is being done for the midterm elections. That's what all this is about.
Since the spring, Republican governors in Texas and Arizona have transported several thousand migrants and asylum seekers to New York, Chicago, and Washington, D.C., all cities with Democratic mayors.
Well, tonight, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is under fire for using taxpayer dollars to organize flights of asylum seekers to Martha's Vineyard. The backlash comes as the Democratic governor of California, Gavin Newsom, is asking the Justice Department to pursue kidnapping charges against Republican governors who are sending migrants to Democratic-run cities. CBS's Elaine Quijano is in Martha's Vineyard.
The 48 asylum seekers, mainly from Venezuela, landed in Martha's Vineyard Wednesday afternoon aboard two planes from Texas and organized by Florida's Republican Governor Ron DeSantis. Luis Fonseca says he left Venezuela to look for a better life for his three children who were still there. He didn't know he would end up here. They told me there was a work opportunity, he says. We were going to a city, but we ended up staying here. Democratic Massachusetts State Representative Dylan Fernandez called the move by DeSantis disgusting.
Ron DeSantis is a coward. Only a coward uses women and children for their own political gain.
Today, Governor DeSantis defended the flights paid through a $12 million taxpayer-funded initiative.
We take what's happening at the southern border very seriously, unlike some, and unlike the President of the United States.
The move follows similar steps taken by Texas Governor Greg Abbott. Today, about 100 migrants from Texas were dropped off near the Vice President's Naval Observatory residence. So far, Abbott has bused over 10,000 migrants to New York, Chicago, and Washington, D.C. Mayors in those cities called the actions political and shameful. In South Florida, a group of Venezuelan Americans criticized DeSantis.
We demand him to stop using our pain, our suffering, and our desperation for his political gains.
Republicans on Capitol Hill defended the Florida governor's actions today. As for the migrants who are here legally seeking asylum, officials here are looking into temporarily housing them at a military base in Cape Cod. Nora?
Elaine Quijano, thank you.
They arrived suddenly and reportedly without much warning. Migrants dropped off in Martha's Vineyard and outside the vice president's D.C. residence. The move, courtesy of the governors of Florida and Texas, a political message to blue states. Texas Governor Greg Abbott has been busing people from the border for months, but now Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is joining him. He sent two planes full of about 50 migrants to Martha's Vineyard, the Massachusetts island known for its wealth and its liberal views. Today, Governor DeSantis explained the move this way.
All those people in D.C. and New York were beating their chests when Trump was president, saying they were so proud to be sanctuary jurisdictions, saying how bad it was to have a secure border. The minute even a small fraction of what those border towns deal with every day is brought to their front door, they all of a sudden go berserk, and they're so upset that this is happening.
This morning, hours after those migrants arrived on Martha's Vineyard, migrants from Texas arrived in front of Vice President Harris's D.C. home. Governor Abbott taking credit for that. He's previously sent migrants to D.C. and New York City, as well as Chicago. The White House and Democrats calling it an inhumane political gimmick. Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre accused the governors of leaving migrants, including children, on the side of the streets.
There's a legal way of doing this, and for managing migrants. Republican governors interfering in that process and using migrants as political pawns is shameful, is reckless, and just plain wrong.
The governor's actions and escalation from past moves to draw attention to what they say are President Biden's failed policies at the border. We have complete coverage tonight. CNBC's Shamari Stone live near Vice President Harris's home in D.C. But first to NBC 10 Boston's Eli Rosenberg. Eli, you've been on Martha's Vineyard most of the day. How did this all unfold?
For a while today, it seemed like everyone on the island was stopping by here with food, with donations, with meals, you name it. Now, this right here is the area where the migrants are eating dinner right now, I am told. I talked to the town manager this evening. He says he's not surprised by the community reaction. Being on an island like Martha's Vineyard, those who call this home are used to watching out for each other. Now, starting early this morning, help started arriving. Officials on Martha's Vineyard saying they only had about a 20-minute heads up yesterday that these two planes would be arriving. That has not slowed the outpouring of support. Not only donations, but a church and an annex at St. Andrews here have been converted to help these 50 migrants. Lawyers, interpreters also coming by. And get this, members of an AP Spanish class from a local high school also came by this afternoon to talk with some of the younger migrants. A resident here says this reaction from this community does not surprise them.
Listening to the rhetoric, the hate talk radio, we'll send them up to Martha's Vineyard and see how they react. I knew how we'd react. Sent them here and we react in a humane manner. Open our arms.
And talking with state officials, they acknowledge this right here is just a temporary solution. Late today, the governor here in Massachusetts says Joint Base Cape Cod, not too far from here, could be a possible solution. And new this evening, a state senator calling on the attorney general to examine if any crimes may have been committed by the governor of Florida. Back to you.
Eli, thank you very much. Eli.